Welcome to the Game of Thrones Iron Podcast, Scenes We Resent. I'm here with Rose Snow, bitch of Westeros, leader of the Red Vipers Bannermen.
Hello.
And we have a special guest live via Skype from Kansas City. We have Tarrin Stark of House Stark of the Red Vipers Bannermen.
Hello.
Hey, Tarrin.
And thanks for having me.
No problem. And I'm Mike Blackfire, and today, we all love the Game of Thrones, but we're going to talk about scenes we don't agree with in the Game of Thrones. So I guess we'll start off with Ned Stark. Tarrin, you got something to say about Ned Stark?
Yeah, it's not particularly a scene, but it has to do with the guy who plays Ned Stark, Sean Bean, who is a very well-known actor over in Europe, and he's been in a lot of different movies and different series and stuff that I've seen, and I just didn't like the way they casted him in that role as the main character to get killed off. I thought that if anything, someone like that who was very well known over there in the other parts of our world, that he probably should have played a character that would lasted at least up to the seasons that we've seen so far. That's just my opinion.
I was under the impression they actually did that on purpose.
Yeah, they might have, but I don't know. I didn't really like it because it really shocked me when I saw that. I thought that they were going to actually let him live, and then when Joffrey changed his mind, it's like, oh, come on, you're kidding me, right?
Right.
I think, like you said, Ro, like they want it fools you even more because you're like, oh, this is a big actor. There's no way they're gonna kill this guy, you know? And then,
exactly.
Well, of course, I
And they
believe
did.
I believe what was said is that they wanted you to fall in love with the character and then kill it off. I believe that
Right.
was part of the shock value of the show.
Yeah, he's got a bad habit of doing that, don't he?
he does.
Yes, he certainly does. But again, we've said it before. I'll say it again. George Martin actually says that HBO has killed off more people than he has.
Yep.
So.
That's true. I mean, it seems anybody with a Stark as last name's in trouble, though.
Right. Right.
Okay, I want to talk about Ned Stark too. I mean, I hate that just before he finally, he's been holding his ground the whole show. He's, he never backs down, and then right at the moment, right before he gets his head cut off, he admits that he's a traitor and everything, and he buys into the line of crap that Varys sells him. I think that's completely garbage. Like, I think he should have held his own to the end and, died with his head up, head down and, right. Well, he lost his
Dignity.
head. Right, his dignity.
For a better lack of words on your part.
Right.
Right.
You thought he lost his head and basically recanted everything he said. Is
Right.
what you're saying?
Well, that and in my opinion, I think he was too trustworthy of their word. That everything was going to be fine.
Right.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, everybody figured. Well, let's not forget that Joffrey says, if you take back what you said, I'll let him live. If he takes back what he said, I'll let him live. And
Right.
Everybody was stunned when Joffrey said, off with his head, and like I've said in the past, and then they basically shoot him with his own gun by using ice to decapitate him.
Yeah,
Yep.
right.
So getting back to the point here, the point is that we're all disappointed that Ned recants his statement saying that Joffrey is from an incestual relationship and that he's not entitled to the throne. And we're all feeling disappointed that Ned didn't stand his ground and say, that's the way I feel, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Exactly. He should have stuck with his guns and went out like that, because the way I look at it, when you're comparing the families, the Starks seem to me to be the most humble of the families.
Right, yes.
Of all the houses.
We've also referred to them in the past as honorable.
Yes, that's another word I was going to use. Honorable and humble.
Right. I think we're all in agreement with that, and that's why I personally chose to be a Stark, and I think that I mimic that a lot in my real life. But getting back to the subject here, is my feeling on something that I resented as far as the scene goes, is definitely Renly Baratheon's death. I felt that it was definitely untimely, just like Ned Stark. Not only did I think it was an untimely death, where I would have liked to see a little bit more of Renly. I'm not saying that he would have had to live forever. I'm just saying that I would have liked to see a little bit more of him. We just started getting to know his character when he was killed off, and I didn't like the way that they chose to kill him. I thought it was a little bit of overzealous for the time that we're supposed to be in at you know in this royalty time, time of royalty, which is back years ago. And I thought this whole Ghost coming and killing Renly was just a crap way of doing this, and then of course you got the whole Brienne standing there, holding the blame, I guess you could say. And I thought, wow, this is weird.
Yeah, she took it the hardest of anybody. She loved him.
Right.
She loved to serve and honor him or whatever.
Well, I guess that was part of the whole.
I just didn't think it was cool because I'm sorry to cut you off.
Good.
I was just thinking before I lost the thought in my head. I was thinking we never actually got to see him in a battle with his men. Did they ever show? I don't remember them ever showing him on the battlefield of him winning any wars or any battles.
No, the only.
I wanted to see that. I wanted to see, just how good is he? Just how strong is his army?
The only
and give these people that are watching the show an opinion. Okay, we've seen him in a couple battles. Yeah, he would be the right guy to be in the throne in the Iron Throne.
The only sword fight that we got to see Renly in was with the Knight of Flowers.
Yeah, he's pretty good with that sword fight. The only sword fight we saw was with the Knight of Flowers.
Right.
Sorry to our gay friends out there.
That's the scene I'd like to forget. But yeah, you're right.
We love them
that was
both.
The fight he was in.
Yeah, I guess for you straight men out there, it's probably a little disturbing, but sometimes we just got to show some hot, sexy men in there too, Jim. You know what I mean? But going forward,
I
guess. I even felt like with Brienne, how would she, this big, massive warrior, ever stand a chance against this little freaking stroke of dust that comes through and kills Renly?
Right.
And I just thought, you know what? This sucks. Like I don't even get to see Brienne fight. She just swore an oath, and now she's freaking.
She didn't get defending.
Right.
She didn't get a chance to defend.
Right.
And protect him.
Right.
She was sworn to do.
I wasn't a fan of that. Like I said, I think Renly was short-lived, and it sort of sucked. I mean, even a few more episodes, something. Get to know who he is. They basically said, he's.
Yeah, because he was funny to me. I thought he was hilarious. When him and Stannis met on the battlefield or whatever, and when they both were at opposite ends,
right.
And remember when she said, right before she said, the night is dark and full of terrors, Stannis mentions that he is what did he say, the king born of salt and smoke? What did Ridley say? He's like, are you a ham? Remember?
Yeah, that was a good line. That was definitely a good line.
Right.
I wanted to hear more of that.
Okay, well...
I wanted to hear more of his smart-ass comments.
Well, Jim, you said you had a problem with the Sansa situation. What do you think about that?
The Sansa situation. The part where she didn't go with the Hound when the Hound finally said, fuck the King's Guard, fuck the war, fuck the wall, fuck the king, and took off, and then he wound up knocking on Sansa's door or whatever, and he offered to take her with him. You could come with me, and she didn't go. And I'm thinking that was stupid of her because eventually she would have wound up with her sister, Arya.
Right. She definitely would have been reunited with Arya, but I think as a whole, for her not wanting to leave for any reason was just plain freaking stupid.
After seeing what happened to her dad.
Exactly. Seeing,
and
Joffrey's...
how can you trust him? How are you going to marry a king that just took your dad's head? Really?
Right. And then basically, tortured her in the process of,
Oh, yeah. He was mean to her and stuff, and there's no way. I'm sorry, but...
Nobody in their right mind would stay. I mean, I realize we have many women that do stay in bad relationships, but let's be honest here. Not relationships where someone just beheaded your father, in front of you, and then put his head on a pike and make you stare at it, and,
Oh, yeah, no kidding. That's another thing, too, because later on, when she's talking to the Queen of Thorns and she's reliving that moment,
right.
And took me up on the wall and made me look at it. Remember?
Right. And then you also have the scene with Littlefinger telling her, that's my ship, I'm leaving, come with me.
Exactly.
Again, she refuses to leave King's Landing. And I don't get it.
I don't either.
I'm gonna say
Maybe it was.
Go ahead.
Maybe in a way, you know how she had grown close to Shay, but I don't think she was that close to Shay when the Hound came and offered to take her away. Later on, she got closer to Shay and then turned Littlefinger down on his offer.
Right.
Now,
Because Shay did say she would kill anybody for that girl.
Right.
And Rob even told Shay, yeah, you watch her.
Right.
You watch her with him.
Right.
well, I'm going to say that
Yep.
the Hound, though, like, I'm thinking about, like, all the interactions the Hound had with Sansa. And, I don't know, it wasn't like a loving relationship. Like, well, listen, first of all, I'm going to say he did save her from getting raped. And he did,
Right.
you know, he was good to her, but he was kind of creepy to her, too. I mean, even that scene when he was going to, you know, take her away with him, I think would he make her sing or something like that? Or were they laying in the bed and he was like, I don't know, it was just like a creepy scene. I don't know if he really went in there like, listen, I'm going to go save your life. Like, he was like, you know, he's always talking about killing people. You know, your father was a killer, I'm a killer. He's kind of a
brother was a
scary
killer,
dude.
right.
I mean, you know, for
Yeah, I
her.
remember that. And he was standing there in front of her, and she was looking up at him, and she's like, you won't hurt me. And he's like, you're right, little dove.
Right.
Yeah.
That right there, she should have left.
Yeah, you're
I
right.
agree.
Okay.
I agree, and I think that whole scene was him trying to say, "You're surrounded by killers, man. I'm not the only one."
See,
And-
I'm not the one you need to fear.
right. But then you know, if you think about it, when Littlefinger takes her to the shoreline there, and he says, you know, I'm leaving. Come with me. I mean, come on, Littlefinger has known his mother for so many years.
Exactly. That
She
would
knows
be
this-
yeah.
this
Even
guy's
though we
trustworthy.
know people watching the show, and we know how Littlefinger really is and how much of a snake he is, you know, whatever. She didn't know that side of him. All she
Right.
knows is he's been knowing the family forever.
Right.
So that right there should have made her think, I can trust this guy. I need to get the hell out of here.
Exactly.
While I still can.
Anybody in their right mind, if you couldn't trust the Hound, which in my mind's eye, I feel that if I was going to leave and I felt I needed to be protected, I would know that the Hound was going to protect me from anyone.
Exactly.
So, I mean, that to me was just, she had two golden opportunities and didn't take either one of them. A little
Right.
weird.
All right, well, I'm going to go with mine now. Davos in the Battle of Blackwater.
There we go.
He's like 5 inches from that wildfire ship that looked like a nuclear explosion went off in King's Landing. He's actually can
Yep.
see the green of the wildfire. It goes off, and somehow like his magical swan dive into the bay saved him from not getting exploded when 50 ships went down. It looked like, and I just don't
His
see.
son died.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, listen, I'm happy he lived because I think he's a great character and everything, but they could have maybe made him a little further from the explosion, and I just felt like it was a little unrealistic. I mean, that was some explosion that just, you know.
Yeah, it was.
Jump-
Because
Yeah.
if you notice.
Because even the water was
when
on fire.
Yeah.
Because when it did explode, in a split second of an instant, they showed the explosion, and then they showed the reaction of the different sailors and different shipmates or whatever holding their arms up, and you could see the reflection of the green, like they were Martians. You know what I mean? That's how green it was on their face, or
Right.
on the reflection on their body.
Right.
And it's like, okay, if they're that close to it, yeah, they're gonna get. You know what I mean?
Well, maybe it's that lucky pouch of fingers he had. You know, he did lose the pouch.
Maybe it was. That's
know?
right. Maybe it was. I don't know. But yeah, you're right. That was kind of. He was too close. He shouldn't have been in like one of the first ships. He should have been like way behind.
Well, my
'Cause
thoughts here is,
Stannis wasn't up there.
I'm wondering
His
if
ship
it's,
was way the hell back in the back, wasn't it?
I wonder if it's possible that Melisandre's Vag monster perhaps maybe saved them.
Maybe.
There you go.
That's a good point. That's a good thought.
Hey.
That could be a way.
They said that
Even though they didn't agree
wildfire.
even though they didn't agree on anything.
I don't remember what exactly the quote was, but apparently wildfire could burn like anything. Could burn through.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
Whatever. But somehow Davos is doing the swan dive in the stuff. Go
Yeah.
figure.
Right. And he actually did that stunt, by the way. I saw the making of that Blackwater Bay, and he actually did the stunt. He never got to do a stunt in all his years of acting, and he said he wanted to do that stunt. So they had him rigged up to the bungee cord and a bunch of airbags in the background, which we didn't see, of course.
Right.
But yeah, when it exploded and he took off flying, that was actually him doing that stunt. For
Right.
those who didn't know.
Jon Snow does a lot of his own fight scenes as well. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it was a great scene. It was really, really cool to look at, but yeah, definitely.
Special effects were awesome.
Yeah, it was definitely well done.
Well, again, as I had said in the past, a few times actually, is HBO says that the Battle of Blackwater Bay was the hardest scene that they had to film.
Yep, it was.
So I definitely believe it.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining us again, Tarrin. Jim, aka
Yeah.
Jim, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye, everybody.